One question I get asked a lot about with my healing journey and Lyme disease is whether or not I took antibiotics and whether or not I feel that they are necessary. And this is what I have to say about that. For me, I feel that I needed the antibiotic help because I was sick for at least 7 years prior to getting an actual medical diagnosis. And so, for those of you that aren't aware, Lyme disease is a corkscrew shaped organism called a spirochete. If you find it initially in the beginning stages, typically it's still in the bloodstream and it is easily treated with antibiotics. And most of the time, 70% of the people that catch it right away, they take the antibiotics, they go on their merry way and have no other issues. And there's another 30% that typically will not help. But then there's also another number of the population that goes on undiagnosed for a long period of time, and that corkscrew shaped organism can then burrow more deeply into someone's organ systems. And so it penetrates then into things like cartilage and our brains, places that antibiotics don't readily penetrate. Unfortunately, those are places that oxygen doesn't necessarily travel to easily, and therefore it makes it very difficult for the antibiotics to get into those spaces as well. And so it takes a lot more to get that out of you once it's left in your body unchecked for so long. And so I felt, again, for me, I did go with the antibiotic course for 2.5 years. Actually, I took a variety of 4 different types of antibiotics in conjunction with an herbal protocol that was based off of a book I read called Unlocking Lyme. It's based, actually, that's written by somebody named Bill Rawls, who has done a lot of studies and healed himself from Lyme as well. But he takes a lot of his studies from a Dr. Buhner, who made up an entire protocol out of herbs to help to boost the immune system. And so I was taking that in conjunction with the antibiotics, as well as a probiotic, because that is another really big piece of the puzzle here. So when we're taking antibiotics, for those of you that don't know, the antibiotic, again, only knows how to do one thing, and that is to kill bacteria. And so it's killing all bacteria in our body, both good and bad. And so that leaves us in a much more susceptible place for bad pathogens and bad types of organisms to take root in our system and to grow if we are not replacing the good bacteria with more good bacteria that's been killed off. And so I would like to stress the importance again of taking a good, solid probiotic. You need to take it at least 2 hours apart from an antibiotic if you so choose to do that for treatment, because otherwise the antibiotic will kill the probiotic, because again, probiotic is just good bacteria that we're trying to put back into the gut stream, and that will get killed by the antibiotic that knows how to kill bacteria. So you have to really be careful, but it becomes quite a balancing act when you're trying to maintain your gut health in conjunction with taking antibiotics. And the more I study Ayurveda and the more I get into holistic medicine, the more I do understand really the true importance of our gut health and how much that actually will control so many other things in our body. As I mentioned already when I said, once the good bacteria is gone, that leaves room for bad bacteria to flourish, and things like candida, different types of, which is a yeast overgrowth, different bad things can move in, different viruses and stuff like that, because we don't have anything left there to fight it off with the good bacteria. So if you decide to take antibiotics like me, there's no shame in that game, but do your best again to balance that with a really good, strong probiotic. And I find sometimes, unfortunately, doctors don't mention the part about the probiotic. It's more so their thoughts are just to get the antibiotics in the person to help them to kill the sickness or the tick-borne illness, but we're not thinking necessarily about the back end of that as to the good bacteria being killed. So if you have further questions about this, feel free to reach out to me. I'm always happy to help you and guide you the best I can towards better health. And you can also look up online different articles that talk about the importance of gut health and probiotics, and educate yourself the best that you can, because the other thing I've learned through this illness is that you must be your own best advocate. And with any illness, you must be your own best advocate. It's not necessarily the doctor's job to know your whole entire being inside and out. That's your job, and it's your job then to speak up about that being, whether something is working or something is not working for it. So again, just do your best to be your own best advocate. And again, Take the antibiotics if you feel that that's right for you. Don't take the antibiotics if you feel that that is right for you. It is ultimately your body and your choice.